podcast. My name is Bea. I am the administrator and moderator for the podcast. And let's welcome our ladies.
What's up, guys? It's Narca the Dog Gurus from Central Florida.
It's Alexis, the vintage dog trainer from Utah.
And I'm Rachel from Training That Heals in New Jersey.
All right, so this week, everybody. Also, we only have Alexis for like 40 minutes. But that being said, this week's topic is, so you got a new dog.
Which I kind of maybe did do that.
Someone got a new dog. So can we see who in the room got a new dog?
In case you are only
that was a surprise. B, you got a new dog?
I got a foster.
Okay, no, that doesn't count. I got plenty fosters. There's like 6 fosters right there. No, you're good. No, not 6.
In case you guys are only listening and not watching, Alexis raised her hand and so did B.
Yeah.
What kind of puppy did you get?
Yeah, Alexis, what kind of puppy did you get?
Maybe got a Malinois.
A what? A Maligator? Is that what you just said?
I got a Malinois.
A dinosaur?
Are you even ready for that? Are you? Oh man! So you got a new dog?
Like he's way more chill than Sen.
Come here.
He's way more chill than Sen.
All right. So
I gotta grab my puppy. Come here.
I also said I'd never have a boy dog, and I brought him a boy. And I said I'd never have a Mal, and I brought him a Mal. So
that's how that works.
We're doing
and
great.
You still got Sen?
Yeah, I still have Sen.
And Malinois?
Yeah, he's the chill one.
When you get a new dog, what's the first thing you should do?
Not love it.
Hey, what do you mean?
Like no, not oodles of affection and cuddles and right into bed with you and run around the house.
What, isn't that what they need? Oh, don't they need all the lovins? Oh, get off. No, you don't. No.
So I think what you mean is set some boundaries.
Wait, can you define?
Affection and more direction.
Can we define what setting boundaries would be? Like, what would it look like for a puppy?
I mean,
how old is your puppy?
With the rest of the pack, right?
Wait, what?
Oh, no.
No.
Wait, what did you say?
I think you don't just let him in with the rest of the pack.
Oh my God, yeah. No.
So what is the thing that you should do when you first bring him home?
How old is your puppy?
He is maybe a year old.
Okay, so we're right at like he's going into adulthood, but it's also a new dog to a house with a dog. So what should be the first steps that you take? Alexis, what were the first steps that you started taking this week?
Well, crating side by side.
Yes.
Getting the dogs to get to know each other.
Cohabitation. That's very important.
Hold on. Let's clarify something.
Cohabitation.
Your puppy is not showing any signs of behavioral problems right now, right? Okay, so this is for a puppy who just came into a new home and it's very mellowed out and friendly. Okay, so this what she's doing is for her puppy. Let's go. Cool, because I wanted to make sure we had a clarity there, because some puppies are, you know,
Zen. When I have a
puppies are Zen, you know. I'm saying.
So cohabitation, very important. And what is the next phase to that you plan to do? Because I know that you were talking a little bit to all of us on how you plan to go about that with Sen.
Yeah. So Sen will go into a more strict protocol. She will lose all furniture privileges and he will not gain furniture privileges until they cohabitate nicely.
Why is that? Why can't they cuddle on the couch together?
Yeah. So we don't have any issues with like Sen guarding my couch from him. Or him guarding my couch from her. Or there's no guarding of me because we're not all both on me and trying to get love and attention all at the same time.
Wow, it sounds like you're trying to set everybody up on an even playing field, including yourself.
So as far as like puppy activities, what are we doing to keep the puppy busy? I'm assuming you take them out together to play and run around in the house just to burn energy. Like that's what I'm assuming.
No.
No, Norca.
No.
Well, why not? My dogs are friendly. The puppy's friendly. Why can't they just run around loose?
Well, one, I don't want the inside of my house to be fucking WWE. This is not UFC. We're not doing cage fighting. Like, inside the house is for calm. Outside the house is for play.
Oh, excuse me, B. Why are you covering?
Because I have 4 dogs and the inside of my house is WWE.
But we're working on this.
Oh, everybody's back on crate protocol.
So the biggest thing that we're taking away so far from what Alexis has done this week is cohabitation and crating, making sure that everybody's on an even playing field, and that the new dog is properly introduced to the rules of her house, which consists of structure, and then just implementing general structure. So in general, those rules all go for puppy introduction, bringing a new puppy home, and introducing a new dog to a household with other dogs in it. So that's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal there. So now, when you also bring home a new puppy, there's other things that we can do. So like when you're bringing home like a puppy, like a young puppy, we're also going to be doing things like potty training and other stuff like that. There's more that we could do there. So the first thing I think of is, obviously it's going to go back to the crate for potty training, crating. I still think crates are better over like a playpen when it comes to potty training. Big time, huge advocate for it. And I'm a big advocate for getting rid of those wee pads and actually doing potty training. No matter your lifestyle, you know, if you're in an apartment, whatever it is, getting rid of the wee pads and very quickly getting your dog used to going outside to go to the bathroom.
Okay. You're muted.
Anyway, so what would you do to start setting up the puppy for successful potty training? So what would your regimen be?
I have this. I'm doing it right.
Wait. I want to hear Rachel's first, and then you.
Yeah. So potty training, your big thing you want to do. So I say structure with that. And what I mean by structure with that is get on a regimen. So with the puppy, you're going to want to know when they need to go to the bathroom. How do we do that? Structure feedings. So start feeding your dog around the same times every day so that you know, okay, 8 a.m., probably going to have to go to the bathroom by 8:30. Get your dog out for the bathroom. When you get on that schedule, you have an idea of what the potty schedule is going to be. Additionally, when it comes to potty training, anytime your dog wakes up, moves, comes off of place, runs around and plays, just drank water, bring that dog outside. If you are not bringing a puppy under like 4 months old outside like every 30 minutes, you're doing it wrong.
I disagree there.
Do you?
I gotta disagree there. Nope. I think that actually builds more of issues for potty training because the dog doesn't learn to kind of hold it a little bit.
Well, yes, you do want to build up. Yeah, you want to build that up.
But I do take them out 30 minutes after any feeding or watering.
Right.
But yeah, never take your dog out like every hour. Unless they're like tiny puppies that can't really hold it. I mean, but a 4-month-old puppy, you should be able to keep in a kennel for a good 4 hours without it needing to use the bathroom.
The rule of thumb that I was always taught was however old your puppy is, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, is each hour that they can hold their bladder. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but when you're getting around that 6-7 hour mark, your puppy should be getting to the point that they could go a good length of the day.
Right.
But still, as soon as you get home, you're going to want to try and get your puppy out, all that stuff. But the big thing is, and the common problem I see when we get puppies coming in or young dogs coming in, I've had a couple dogs that were wee pad trained, and now they're 1 year old, 1.5 years old, and they're still going to the bathroom inside the house. So a lot of times people will say, oh, well, my breeder was using wee pads, so that's why I continue to use them. Well, your breeder had your dog at 16, 15, 14, 13 weeks old when they really couldn't be going outside. That is why wee pads are used, or they are in like a whelping box or something. But when you start to introduce more free roam in the house and giving them access to more rooms and everything, which your dog should never be unattended, that they could be doing that stuff anyway. That's where you need to start phasing out the wee pads and phasing in the potty going outside.
It's a regimen. It's literally a routine. You just gotta do.
Right.
You can get the dog going in the same spot every day. You can get the dog going at the same time every day if you just create that routine. can add something to that. So B, go ahead. How would you practice your potty training for your puppy?
So I have a 6-month-old foster puppy right now. She is been an outdoor dog since she was like a baby. So for her, I take her out every 2 hours. I set an alarm to take her out every 2 hours. She's never been in a house. She's never been in a crate. This is all very new to her. And she's asleep right now, finally. But I take her every 2 hours. She does pee every 2 hours.
When would you start to increase that time?
I'll probably start increasing it in about 3 days.
Okay. I like it.
Doing good so far.
This girl's eaten once today and's gone out 3 times now.
That's you just brought up another good point, the food stuff. So like if you're bringing any new dog home and you want to build a good relationship, hand feeding, puppies, hand feeding, like all that stuff is relationship building stuff. What do we mean?
You also do not have to feed what your breeder was feeding your dog. You do not have to feed your dog what your previous owner was feeding your dog.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your dog's food by speaking to a nutritionist about what's best for that breed and that dog.
Right.
Thank you for stopping at Education Station.
This week, Education Station.
Yes, ma'am.
Norca, why don't you explain hand feeding? Because I know you do it like more than any of us do. Because I think a lot of people have a big misconception about what, when we as trainers say hand feeding means.
Well, I think different trainers have a different meaning for this.
Yeah.
So I did see that from watching other trainers hand feeding dogs. Some people are just feeding their dogs out of their hands without anything behind it. Because dogs should not work for their food. Because you guys shouldn't work for your money. Okay. Anyway, hand feeding for me, I feed my puppies, probably a 4-month-old puppy like this, I'll feed it twice a day during training. So anytime in the morning when we get out of the kennel, I have a little training regimen where my puppy comes out of the kennel with manners, on the leash to the door with manners. We have to work on door manners at the door. But if I know my puppy can't hold it, I'll just run outside to that poop spot, go right there. And then on the way back, we're working on leash pressure. I have food in my pocket the whole time and I'm rewarding anything I want to see more of. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other behaviors that I don't want to see, like excitable jumping and stuff like that, I'll ignore it, keep walking, reward good behaviors that I see, because puppies need reward, right?
Right.
Positive reinforcement for the right things, right? So I feed throughout the day too. So if there's any breakfast left over after we're done with that training session, I'll feed during lunch when I take the dog out. And there's always leftovers.
I feel like when people hear us say hand feeding, they think we mean like sit on the ground with your dog and just like let them eat.
So
out
hand
of your
feeding,
hand.
why talk when we can show? Okay.
Right.
So hand feeding
Explain
looks
what you're doing too, because there are people who only listen.
right. So hand feeding looks a little like this. I have a puppy on a leash. The leash is loose. I'm not tugging my puppy around. My treats are gonna come down to the dog's nose level to guide the puppy around. I'm gonna give one kibble for a touch of the hand there. I'm gonna walk around, touch of the hand, get to kibble there, walk around, no tension, puppy's following, good puppy. And that's how I hand feed breakfast, trying to get this dog's attention on me. I can also do a little place, a little more into place. Yes, good girl. Feed her there. Come on, let's go over here, good girl. Feed her there. Any positive, any behavior that I want to see more of, I'll reinforce with positive, feeding and talking. Okay.
So to describe like what Norca was just doing for those of you that only listen, she was in just this, which is just one example. She was just simply moving around because she has a younger puppy. So the first thing you want to start with your puppies is getting the relationship with you and your body. So you want them to just tune in with your body and like start following you around. So all she was doing was walking a little bit. And as soon as the dog turned and came towards her, that's when she would reward with some food. And that's teaching the dog that, hey, good stuff comes from me, come to me.
And I move backwards a lot because I want my dog to come to me. I don't want to chase my dog around. I don't want to build tension that I don't need on the leash. So if the dog builds tension by walking away, all I have to do is step back away from the dog, bring that hand down, come on, puppy, and motivate the dog to come back to me and reward when they touch. Okay. So yeah, hand feeding can be throughout the day. You can teach so much with their food. Like you can, their entire breakfast, you can feed it breakfast through lunch. While you take them out a couple times, you can work with a few different, commands and stuff like that. And start to build a bond, start to build a routine where your dog understands, okay, when the leash is on, we follow this person around because that person has the money, right? and you just start to build that wanting to be around you, you know, in your surroundings, and seeking for more, and eager to learn more, because they know that they need you. They need that food from you. They need that reward. Okay. So yeah, hand feeding is highly recommended for young puppies and dogs with behavior issues, because it builds connection between human and dog.
Those first couple of days and weeks that you have a new dog home, whether a puppy or just an older dog that you adopted, those are the impressionable stages, because that's where that puppy or that dog is learning who you are, what you mean to them, what this house is and what the rules are, what the expectations are. So when we say from day one, like, we're not trying to be hasslers and be like, rain on your parade. Like, we know it's exciting when you get a new dog, especially when you get a new puppy. And trust me, I've been there, where like you get a new puppy and you really want them to sleep in the bed with you that like first night, then the first night turns into 3 nights. But what you're doing potentially is you're building a habit, and you're conditioning this dog to like, hey, here's how it works. But then all of a sudden, like 2 months from now, when you want your bed back, it's not going to go over so great.
Or when he's claiming the bed.
Yeah. So that's why we say start from day one. Like, it's hard, but in the long run, you're investing in the relationship that you have between your dog.
Right.
I wanted to ask a question for Alexis, because she actually, I don't know if we like really announced this, because I don't think she's been on since, but you started working at a shelter recently. I don't know if you have puppies there, if it's primarily adult dogs, but I'm sure you're giving out similar advice for new dog owners. What are like the main things that, since you have a trainer's perspective, you're making sure that these owners are taking home with them?
Great. So I always kind of tell everybody a couple of days of kennel decompression, just coming up to go potty, we do our hand feeding, and then we go back to the kennel.
What does kennel decompression mean?
So it's kind of letting them, their entire central nervous system just decompress, work through all of the stress of changing environments, work through the anxiety. And it's just letting them chill and get used to the environment in a calm, safe, contained space.
So you mean spending more time in the kennel than out of the kennel?
Yep. So most of the day is in the kennel. That is actually how I ended up with my Mal, because he got adopted and then they didn't listen to anything I said, and their other dog was a jerk, and it led to a warning bite over a bone, and they brought him back, and then I took him home.
Mm-hmm.
So because people didn't listen to me and my rules for bringing a new dog home, this freaking amazing dog that was potentially going to be a service dog,
He was meant for you.
brought back.
He was meant for you.
Yeah. We have now poked and prodded and tested, and he has no actual resource guarding issues. And it was...
It might have been the other dog for all we know, because we can't tell what happened as professionals. We weren't there to kind of...
I wasn't there to see it. But we have poked and prodded. We've taken raw bones away from him, and he's like, okay, cool. It's yours now.
I feel like it's a common thing that we all always hear, like all the rescues I work with, like it's the same thing. Like a dog comes back a week or 2 later because the owners ultimately didn't listen. And I mean, I'm not here to hate on the owners or to shame, but if you're going out to get a dog, remember they're an animal first and foremost that you're bringing into your house. And there are certain things that you need to do. And if you are especially getting an adult dog, and in the rescue world, anything above something that's already had a house or is like above 6 months old is already an adult in their world, because they've already had impressions, because they've already had things happen to them. So you need to be very careful about what else you tack onto that dog's things that they're picking up in their life that can contribute to behaviors that become part of them.
So this is something common that I see with shelters, and it's returning dogs over weekends or over the week. Your dog's not comfortable in your home after this dog wasn't comfortable in the shelter.
Yeah.
This dog was not comfortable. This dog was not under a training regimen. This dog wasn't under anything at a shelter. They may have spent anywhere between a few days to a few months in the shelter, and the people there don't see the actual issues because they don't spend that individual time with that dog in a home setting with other dogs and kids around and real life shit, you know? These dogs are in a big ass oversized kennel that they don't need. Okay, they're in an oversized kennel watching other dogs pass by to curse each other out. They're in the fucking D block. Hey man, I see you, fuck you. And they start cursing each other out as they pass up, and that just amps them up, you know? The dogs leave there with more issues than when they came in. Period. Okay,
Especially if
so
they've sat there for a long time.
I've been trying to say this to fosters out here. If you're really trying to help these dogs find a home, you need to set structure, clarity, routine for these dogs while they're with you. You can't just bring a fucking strange ass dog into your house that spent 3 days at a rescue that you don't fucking know. The rescue didn't know them. And you bring them to your house and then you let them in the home with your own dogs that have been there for a couple of years and know the rules. And then you expect this stressed out new fucking dog to behave at his finest when you invited all your cousins over to come meet your new dog. So that dog is now overwhelmed by all the strangers in a circle, petting it, picking it up, throwing it over here, throwing it over there. And the dog has no fucking way out of that. What do? They react. They advocate for themselves. They start snipping and nipping and snapping and going after hands and feet, and they want to avoid the interaction because it's so overwhelming. Think about a little kid in foster care. Like, you're gonna bring this new kid in foster care, like, all right, kiddo, you're at home, enjoy. No, you're gonna take your time with that kid and build a relationship and a bond. You're gonna make sure that kid gets up at 6 a.m., brushes his fucking teeth, gets in that routine of getting dressed, gets in the routine of getting in, to the kitchen table and eating breakfast and washing their dish and going to school, getting in line. There's routine.
Mm-hmm.
To make things easy, okay? So why wouldn't you set your foster dog up for success by bringing it into your home, putting it in a fucking kennel to have some time to itself so that it can accept the fact that it's somewhere new, and in the morning, put a leash on the fucking dog before it even gets out of the kennel and start your day by telling that dog, this is how we do things here. Setting expectations for this dog, and information has to be clear, guys.
Right.
Okay? So fosters out there and new adoptees, your dog needs time to chill, okay? Your new dog, whether it's a little tiny 8-week-old puppy or a fucking 3-year-old, mastiff, okay? It needs time to settle in the environment. The first day, the first couple nights, the first couple weeks are not enough for a dog to adjust. It just isn't. And a dog in a shelter is not adjusted, period.
And in the beginning,
people blame rescues. These rescues are not professional. They're sweet fucking people that get together and build a little organization, and they draw in money, and they have the space, they take in dogs. They don't fucking have a clue about behavior.
Right.
At all. So they reach out to trainers, and then they get a whatever they want to label trainer into the facility, and that trainer doesn't work because that trainer doesn't understand what's even going on in there. And these dogs just keep getting bounced around, and these people that mean well have no clue that they should also be setting structure in that shelter, and they should be having these dogs crated so that these dogs are used to being crated when they leave this place, and they're also used to being put on a leash and told what to do, and rewarded with food and praised and trained and set up for success, set up to go into a happy home, set up to never come back.
Right.
Mic drop.
I think just to restate, like, one of the things you said in the beginning, because I want to make sure that people understand that, is and it touches upon that decompression time also that Alexis was talking about. You need to if you're going to adopt a dog, they say the rule of thumb is 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. 3 days, your dog is going to get used to the smells, the sounds, and everything in the house. 3 weeks, you're going to start to see some of their true personality come out. 3 months is when you're kind of in the clear at that point, and that
you will start really seeing major issues at 3 months. So you're neither in the clear, dog's comfortable, or this dog is comfortable enough to start showing the bad behaviors.
But what you said is, a lot of people will get worried the first weekend because they kind of did way too much too quick, and then they get worried and a dog goes back. One of the programs that we do here, and I know that a lot of trainers do stuff like this, but back in the fall, we were doing classes on the weekend where we met with rescues, and we were working with all the volunteers of the rescue to help try and create and show them how to create structure and as much of it as they can when they're there. So when they're letting a dog out of the crates or the kennels, trying to keep it structured up, putting leashes on, structured walks, to help get these dogs more in that mindset. Because once again, when you have a dog that's in that situation, and especially a dog that's been sitting for a while, unfortunately, or keeps getting brought back, there's zero structure. There's negative structure in that. If anything,
that dog gets returned with a bite, let's say. So this dog gets returned for a bite because this owner brought it to a new house and left the bone somewhere, and the dog decided to resource start it. So the guy freaked out, tried to grab the bone, gets bit, right? Dog comes back. Now he's got a bite on the record, right?
Right.
So these handlers now are afraid to go into that kennel to let the dog out. So this dog is on minimal exercise now, more amped up energy from jumping around that crate, going fucking apeshit, and they're building even worse behaviors. Just saying, just because I witnessed
Right. Yeah. But I completely agree. Like when, as an owner, when, you know, take a breather. It can be really overwhelming whenever you bring anything new into the house, any type of new pet, but take a breather. And one of the best things you could do too, and I wish more places required this, but I know it's kind of a double negative because then less people would adopt. But I feel like places that have adult dogs that are going out should require a trainer being lined up, because it would make for a smoother transition home.
I would suggest any trainer out here even listening to us that you go to a shelter and you offer some of your time to help better the system, because we can't get to everybody, but we can get to a lot of people, the people in our community. We can definitely get to them and help these dogs actually stay out of these shelters so that other dogs can come in and get adopted out and train, and it could just, you know, the euthanasia rate is high, man. They hide these things. They say no kill shelter. You show up, that dog comes back with a bite. Most likely that dog's on a euthanasia list. They may not do it there. They'll transfer that dog over to another shelter that does it. They'll try to give that dog a chance there, evaluate the dog, same issues there. Boom, that dog's dead now. So this is a touchy subject.
It's a lot. It's really important. It's a really impressionable stage for everybody involved.
Yeah.
I think we touched upon, like, so far some really good things that are the concepts, if you will. But what do you guys think are some really important things that should be taught, like teaching your dog their name right away, or teaching recall?
B, that's for you. So you as a dog owner and now foster mom. All right, so go ahead and answer that first, and then go to the trainer there.
For me, the first thing I do anytime I get a new dog is teach them crate training. Crate training and potty training for me is the absolute most important thing, because I crate my dogs, and crating my dogs is
training.
What?
How do you start the process of crate training?
Yeah. So starting the process of crate training is the first thing I do. And then after it's been a few days, I start teaching them their name, which is really, I say their name, I give them a cookie. I say their name, I give them a cookie. And then I go from that to, I say their name, I wait for them to look at me, I give them a cookie.
Right, with food.
And then recall, which you could not tell with the dogs I have, because my dogs all, like, I taught them their names, but I didn't know how to teach recall. So now they're learning recall. No, you're fine.
Dog can learn recall at any age.
Yep.
Yes.
Any training.
But for me, the big one is teaching house training, teaching crate, teaching their name, which leads to teaching recall. Because what do you do if your dog runs, gets startled, sees a bunny, a bird, a squirrel, because they're
in real life?
Self.
What happens if real life comes at you?
Yeah. What happens if you can't train in a vacuum?
Yep.
They need to know their name. They need to know that you're what they need to come back to, and that when you recall them, they need to come back.
Right.
Right, Guy?
I 100% agree. Recall is it's one of the most important I do. The only one that I like that's above recall for me is thresholds. I do threshold. The second my hands are on a leash for any dog, I don't care what age, I don't care if you just got dropped off 35 seconds ago. If I'm walking out to your owner's car to bring your food bag in, we're doing thresholds.
Yep.
Congratulations. You
as soon as the owners pass me the leash, we're training. Like,
yeah.
I get
and
my
thresholds
little video.
Are the most important thing for me, and I practice it everywhere. We have baby gates all through the house at our facility, and the baby gates they practice at the baby gates. They practice at the back door and the front door. They practice at the trunk of my car, in my car, all of it. Thresholds for me are like, I don't know why. I think it's like a huge safety thing. I mean, I know why.
It's a safety thing.
Yeah, it's a huge safety thing and all of that associated with it, but recall right behind that, because obviously recall, to have a bulletproof recall can be life or death sometimes. So very important. I don't know what you guys would say.
What are the first commands you would start to teach, or first things you would want to? Alexis, yes, you. Vintage dog trainer. Excuse me, vintage.
I kind of dive in. So definitely like the basics, thresholds, recall, teaching their name.
Wait, did you
I
say dive in? Did you just say dive in? We just start training?
yeah, like I dive in and we start training. So I also practice and recommend to everybody that comes through my shelter, first like 3 to 6 months, the dog is living on a leash.
Mm.
If they're not in the kennel, they're on a leash.
Why is that?
So I have a little bit of extra, I guess, distance from the dog to kind of help teach it what the rules and boundaries are. So I already know with my Mal that I just brought home, he's a counter surfer.
Mm.
That's pretty common.
He's a really tall boy. He's a counter surfer.
How do you utilize the leash to help with the counter surfing?
So as soon as he starts
From a client's point of view.
yeah. So as soon as he starts to kind of sniff towards my counters, it's a little bit of leash pressure, calling his name, recalling him back to me. So
wait, you're telling me that you don't wrangle your giant Mal in your apartment to get
with a prong collar and everything?
to stop doing what you want? You're telling me that
You didn't have to yell at your dog?
The fact is
Sorry.
tonight.
The problem? What?
Coffee, late evening coffee is not, it doesn't help me.
Yep. Yeah.
Using a leash inside the house wonders.
And this is a great subject. I'm having fun here.
Yeah. I think my other thing that I like to start working on right away is a place command. Because again, I'm wanting to teach my dogs calm in the house, how to settle themselves down if they start to get a little overwhelmed or overexcited, or they start getting a little bit zoomy. I want to teach them an off switch, especially with something like a working line German Shepherd, a Belgian Malinois, these breeds that are a little high energy, crazy, psycho dinosaur dogs. I want to teach them how to just be okay doing nothing. So we spend a lot of time just on a leash, tethered to me, doing absolutely nothing while I'm sitting and working. And then
don't lie, you're doing nothing too. Don't lie to us.
You're on TikTok. I saw you earlier. No.
I'm working like 70 hours a week right now.
You're on TikTok.
Working or I'm sleeping.
I saw you liking something.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, Alexis, is Sen going to go back on a lead inside the house for the first few months?
Why would he be?
Yep. So at the moment, we kind of got, this was not necessarily a planned bring a new dog home. And I'm only allowed one dog where I'm at. My landlord will not even have a conversation about another dog. So I've got a coworker that was like, if you want to adopt him, I will take him. So he is kind of on her, and she's a really great foster mom. So she has got him until I can relocate. So when we actually like fully merge households, it will be a new house for both dogs. And we'll be going back into
you get to start over, girl. Congratulations.
Yep, we get
That's gonna be fun training. That's gonna be fun training because that's gonna be new for everybody. So, yeah.
Yep, it'll be new for everybody. I think it's gonna be a really great chance for them to kind of get off on the right foot because nobody's established.
There's structure everywhere, structure for everyone.
Yep, structure for everybody. So Sen will be going back on lots of time in the crates, back to on leash in the house all the time. Ramses will be doing space. Yep. Honestly, the cat will probably go back in the structure with him.
I have a crate for that too.
She is a demon-possessed cat.
She's not mean. Did you see her with that big ass bone?
I did. I cracked up. So the reason why I asked is Sky is in the room with me with the foster who's in her crate, and Sky is back on a leash. And I was just curious if that was like the normal thing to do, because the first thing I thought was putting this.
It's recommended. Put the leash on all your dogs if you have.
I drive girl back on a leash. We got a new dog in the house. Oh, the rest of my dogs are great protocol right now. They're not thrilled with life.
The leash, like honestly, I think it's so funny sometimes. I mean, it's funny and it's not funny because I'm never here to hate on or make fun of owners, but it's one of those concepts that like for some reason it got drilled in our heads that leashes equal outside,
right?
And I was one of those people too, but like honestly, if you're struggling inside or you're looking to somehow control your dog or you're looking to communicate with your dog, we use the leash outside to do that. Why would we not use it inside as well? And like honestly,
wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
We use the leash outside for all the good stuff. Why would we not use it inside
Wait,
as well?
say that again. I need to record this.
I also, okay, 'cause I only have like,
also.
I only have like
Okay.
5 minutes left.
Go,
Wait,
Alexis,
Go
go.
look at my vaccine. I didn't want to lose the paper. That's just for my vaccines.
I have a couple of super quick things
Yeah.
before I have to hop off and go train a dog. So to kind of touch on the on leash in the house thing, if the only time we ever put our dog on a leash is to go outside, the leash becomes super fucking exciting and the dog goes psycho every time we pull the leash down. But
Mhm.
if they're in the house on a leash, they're like, cool, we're just on a leash and it's not an exciting thing. We're not building this anticipation about going to do fun stuff. So that is point one. Point two, whether puppy, older dog, whatever, especially for bringing a dog into a multi-dog household, I want to make sure I'm advocating for all of the dogs in the house. Hence, then the other reason she will be going on a leash, I already know she's kind of the dick dog, that the other dog has a toy or has a bone. She's going to go take it just because the other dog has it. And if they take whatever she had, she will go take it again and does this ridiculous, nope, this is mine, you can't have it.
Right.
Which can cause resource guarding from the other dog because now their stuff is always being taken away.
We don't
So-
let dogs claim things. We don't let dogs claim things. Oh, before
Exactly.
you go, did you just throw a bunch of toys all over your house for the dogs to enjoy?
No, they don't get.
Because you
toys.
want to make the puppy happy. You want to make the puppy happy, so you want to buy all the toys that you can and just throw them everywhere.
No, my dogs don't get toys anyways. They get toys when I want to play, and the game is play with me, not so much the toy is the important thing.
Wait, what do you mean play with you?
Matters.
Wait, why can't they have their own toys though? I don't get it.
Because one, I want the fun stuff to be about me. So I don't want it to be the toy is the fun thing. I'm the fun thing. We
And
can
you
do
have the
fun
toy, right?
and I have the toy. So therefore, there's no free access to toys in my house. And then again, it prevents this kind of ownership of the toy. This is my toy. Nobody else can touch it
Because whose toy is it?
because it's mine.
Hmm.
So yeah, advocating for both of the dogs of making sure, you know, if we're doing something like laying down and chewing on a bone or an antler or whatever, that I'm not letting the dogs kind of settle that themselves. I
Or
want to
steal
make
stuff.
sure both of my dogs are comfortable and they get their thing, and the other dog is not fucking with them constantly and taking stuff away, which causes issues. So rather than letting an issue happen where eventually one dog is going to get frustrated and snap and I'm going to be breaking up the scuffle, I'm just going to step in and be like, nope, you have your thing, you have your thing, you fucking leave each other alone. Or
Is that a preventative?
my biggest plan of action, regardless of them being on leash in the house, is stuff that's really high value, like an antler or a bone, is for crate time.
Mhm.
Get those things in the crates.
Safety
And then
first.
when we're done, those things go away and then dogs can come out and be on leash and we'll be on place and we'll do a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Hey.
So just like you were using the toys to create a fun association with you and relationship building with you, people forget that, like, hey, we can also use these things to build a nice association with the crate if you're trying to do crate training. So you can give your dog something indestructible in the crate, or you can feed them their meals in their crate. They're going to start to build up that association, especially if you're doing like puppies and you're trying to get through that like initial crate training where they're like just learning how to be separate from human contact. You're going to want to do things like that in the crate because that's going to help get them more comfortable in there. But like you said, breaking up the two dogs, like I think a lot of people, when we say that, or we're like, get them apart from each other, they're like imagining like putting their dog in a headlock and like trying to get it away. That's why we say use the leash in the house, especially when you have a bigger dog. What are you going to do? Pick it up? Pick the dog up, carry the dog, pick up the
They
leash
do though.
and move
They
your
do.
dog away. Like,
You
that's
know,
why we say use it in the house.
Yeah, no, I will have like 2 70-pound dogs living with
Yeah.
me. I'm like 112 on a good day.
Maybe after
That's
a
with the
burrito.
extra layers, guys. That's with the extra layers.
Yeah, that's with layers and shoes and
Extra layers, a big meal.
I think it's also really important for dogs to have separate place time and kennel time, and one dog in the crate, one dog out, and vice versa.
Give
So that the
individual
dogs
love.
don't become codependent on each other.
And
Yes.
give individual love. You know how many people create that jealousy between their dogs? When the one dog's getting petted, the other one comes in and then you pet both dogs?
Yeah.
No. Give individual affection and attention to your dogs. Do not combine me petting Deborah here and then when what's his name? Deborah and Dexter. And then when Dexter comes in to get cuddles, I'm gonna give him the same cuddles. No, I'm gonna push Dexter away and keep petting Deborah because I'm not sharing that love right now. I will stop petting Deborah and go pet Dexter.
Okay.
Yes.
Alexis, you gotta go.
Bye,
I've got like probably a couple of minutes. I just got a text that they had a little bit of a hard time loading up in the car and they're on their way.
Okay.
So I think I've got just a couple more minutes.
I was just gonna say off of what oh man, I think I forgot off of what you guys were just saying. Oh, no, I lost it. It's
Can
gone.
we talk about affection in a multi-dog household then?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's what it
Bringing
was.
someone new.
The codependency thing. So that's really important. So one, making sure that they're separate, like having them separate place time, maybe keeping one in the crate, take one out, put on place, and then switch them. Keeping them in separate rooms sometimes, that's really important. But equally, and I mean, this is just also like should tug on your heartstrings a little bit, doing things separately with your dogs. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm gonna go for a walk, and then they take both dogs. One, if you're just introducing 2 new dogs and you're teaching them, trying to teach 2 dogs at once with one person is a lot. So don't do that to yourself. 2, you do want to make sure that sometimes they are getting that individual time from you, because like Norika was saying, it's going to help make sure that you don't create like that jealousy or anything. And that's just nice for relationship building. So
your dogs don't learn things from each other, guys. They learn the naughty stuff from each other, but they don't really
don't get a dog for your dog.
Oh my God, don't get a dog for your dog. Can we all say that? All right, start over. Say it again.
Don't get a dog.
Don't get a dog for your dog.
Don't.
Yeah, people do that. I got this dog because my other dog is lonely. Yes, people do that everywhere.
Because now I work in a shelter, so and
You're hearing it in the application.
I'm in charge of doing all of the adoptions and the meet and greets and all of that. How many times people come in and they're like, well, we really want to get another dog, so our dog has a companion, and then we do like the meet and greet with the 2 dogs, and their dog is just like, I don't want another dog.
Guys, your dog does not want another dog.
Myself.
And I know we're gonna get shit for this, but your dog doesn't want another dog. It doesn't need another dog. Your old dog passed away and you still have one dog. That one dog doesn't need you to go get another dog because it's depressed. That one dog needs you to give them
I did do that.
attention. Yeah, and that dog, all the dog needed. Yes, and this is good. No, it's not good, but it's good that you're actually, you're living proof here. Okay,
I did do
you don't
that.
get a dog when your dog passes away because your other dog is lonely. This is an opportunity to give your dog that's lonely attention, affection, and training, and build a bond, and just get that dog out of that funk. They are gonna miss their buddy, but they don't have to stay.
You don't need another dog to help your dog get their energy out. You're gonna have 2 dogs that have a lot of energy then.
Yeah. I think it's also really important because I do see a lot of our dog just passed away and now our dog is depressed and lonely and blah, blah, blah. A lot of that dog's reaction is because us as the human is upset. So all of everything that we were doing, all of the structure and all of that tends to go out the window because us as the human is mourning and we're sad and we're being
knows that the thing
so the dog is reacting to us now breaking the routine, and the homeostasis in the home has changed. So now the dog is like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? And then we're like,
dog it to me.
Another one.
Yes.
But really, what that dog needs is more structure, getting back into a routine, us continuing to do what we would always do, and that dog will bounce back and they'll be just fine. And then if we decide, okay, us as the human would like another dog, then we get another dog.
Yes.
Right.
And we keep those dogs separate until they know the rules.
Yep.
And yeah, we're not saying don't get a second dog or a third dog. We're saying your reasoning for getting said dog should not be related to previous dogs. It should just be because, you know what? I want another fucking dog. Because why not? I got a raise and I can afford it.
I got the money and I got the time. That's why. Not because my dog needs a dog.
Should not be related to your other dog. If you've done it, it's done. The deed's done. We've all been there. You're all are liars. If we can't sit here and say that we haven't I've gotten another dog for a dog before I was a trainer. We've all done it. Most people do it.
I haven't.
But learn from our mistake. You have you don't get to
I did. And even after I was a trainer, I did. Because I looked at Snooki.
I did not keep my mouth for my son.
When I got Peanut for my ex, Peanut's a little chihuahua. She's not with me. She's with my ex. But when I got Peanut for my ex, it was 2 days after Snooki's 11th birthday, or what is it, 9th birthday. I came to the car like, Snooky, I'm so sorry I got you a puppy for your birthday. And I just handed her over like, here. But
Yeah.
my dog hated me for like at least 3 months. She was like not satisfied with the puppy in the house at all. And then now they're best friends. They're fucking awesome now.
Yeah. So
Yeah. No, I got another dog because one, I didn't trust another home to not just totally fuck him up, and he's an incredible dog.
Yes.
And two, for me as a person, there is stuff that Sen is she's amazing, and I love her, and I wouldn't trade her for the world. And she has things that she's gonna give me that he can't.
Right.
But some stuff that he very naturally does, kind of task wise, for some kind of mental health and situational stuff. Like he very naturally interrupts behaviors,
right.
and very
Oh,
naturally
does he do it without trying to knock you down like Sen tries?
Yeah, he doesn't like have a meltdown about it. So there's some of kind of my physical body triggers that happen when I'm getting stuck doing certain things that he naturally already starts to interrupt. So potentially he will be doing some tasking stuff for me that Sen just doesn't catch on to, isn't interested in doing. We've all seen her on a previous podcast. She'll do body pressure, but she doesn't love it. She's like, hey, can I be done now? He very naturally wants to he just does it. So there's some stuff that I want to kind of work on with him to kind of help me out. And then he is crazy dog neutral, situationally neutral. So I also kind of brought him home as a helper for me as a trainer to help rehab my dog reactive dogs. That Sen just isn't great. If another dog barks at her, she's gonna be like, okay, we're barking, and she's gonna bark back. He just kind of looks at the other dog like, okay, whatever. Person, what do you want me to do here?
Right.
So for me, from a training perspective, he's a better helper dog when I get to a point with reactive dogs that start to need some kind of safe triggers to be around. He's kind of an ideal candidate for that. And Sen just doesn't excel at that. And that's where they're totally two unique individual dogs. And there's stuff she excels at. He's not going to be a bite dog. He's not going to be this crazy working dog. He's much kind of lower energy, more chill. Which makes him great for some other stuff.
Right. You
That's
bring
why
up a really good point there, though, about not, I mean, like you're doing it in a different sense, but it sparked it in my head. Like when you do go get a new dog and you bring it home, don't compare it to any of your previous dogs.
Yes. Can you repeat that, ma'am?
Yeah.
When you do get a new
I
dog.
do have to bounce now.
I love
Bye.
you.
I love you guys.
Bye.
I'm finishing podcast. I'm gonna go train a dog now.
Go train.
Bye.
But she brought up a really good point. So like about don't compare the new dog to your previous history with other dogs. And that happens a lot. Like I think us as trainers will hear that from clients that we work with. Oh, I've never had like a difficult dog before. Like all my previous dog. First of all, you're setting yourself up for failure mentally and on your training journey in doing that. It's a terrible perspective and a terrible outlook. Don't compare to anything, not your past dogs, not trainers, not things you see on social media, not your friends' dogs, nothing. Each dog is individual and each dog is capable of greatness. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. And every dog, no matter where they're at in their journey, is capable of being better and being great. So always look for that stuff and don't harp on the, oh my God, my other dog, like, so we could take anything out of its mouth and it never chewed anything and like this, that, and the other. Well, this dog requires some work and it's unfair for this dog that didn't just come out the womb knowing that X, Y, and Z.
These are the expectations.
Yeah. So don't compare. You know, that's going to help you out in the journey. And that's just like a nice word of advice. It has nothing really to do with training.
That's something Norca has to frequently tell me with 11 because 11 is learning at a much slower pace.
Right.
Than literally any of my other dogs. Even Cowboy, who I only just started doing real structured training with.
Right. Right. No, I think it's really important that everybody keeps that perspective, especially if you have multi-dogs or if you're getting another dog. A lot of times I hear people talk about this, especially when they get all the same dogs. So like you have a family who's on like their 5th lab.
All shepherds, yep.
Yeah, they're on their
Border
5th lab.
collies. I've had
So, yeah.
5 border collies my entire life, and I've
Yeah.
never had this resource guarding issue or a dog lunging at cars.
Right, exactly. Just keep an open mind. I mean, there's so many things at play. Don't compare and just realize that there's room for growth and that things can get better. But I think we brought up a lot of really good like points for
Yes,
this whole
yeah.
like you just brought a dog home, both for puppies and adult dogs.
Can we go into one more subject before we go? How long do we have? I got like 30 more
We
minutes.
have at least an hour.
I have about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I have about
yeah,
I need to
30
eat
minutes.
dinner. So yeah, Norco, what's up?
Hey, come here, puppy. Litter mates.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Oh,
when we were
person
talking
getting
about
litter mates.
codependency. Yeah.
Person getting 2 puppies from the same litter because
I don't
they
think
feel
it's
bad about leaving the puppy behind and then leaving our puppy alone. So we have to bring 2 puppies home.
I don't think it's just the same litter though, because if you get 2 dogs that are the same
puppies.
age or close
Right,
in
2
age,
puppies.
Yeah.
reaction. Because I have that problem with Cowboy and 11, who are about a month and a half apart. And I'm actually at the point right now where I'm considering creating a dog in every room, all separate from each other.
Yeah, the term litter mates can be a little bit misleading like that people think it has to be like from the same litter. It isn't.
Puppies the
It's dogs
same
the same age.
Puppies.
And they could sit close in age, and you have them in the same house and they start to pick up on everything. I've worked with several litter mates. I think we're slowly becoming known to work with litter mates in our area.
Sorry.
Yeah, so
My condolences to you.
so the thing with litter mates, one, why did you do that to yourself? But now that you've done it and it's
Hey.
done, let's
Hey.
move on and we'll go from there. So get training as early as possible. 16 weeks. At 16 weeks old.
At 8 weeks, begin training with. As soon as they walk in that door.
Yeah, as soon as
training.
they're cleared. I mean, as soon
Separate
as they're
them.
cleared, they should start.
So thank you for mentioning that clear thing too. Let's talk about that. So just because your dog doesn't have vaccinations doesn't mean your dog cannot be exposed to the outdoors.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so we can't limit that because some people really do think they got to keep their dogs in home until the 6
I
months.
thought that.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is
everybody
part of
does.
why 11
This is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
vet
So I
veterans
want to talk about that a
recommend.
little bit more, but let's finish the litter mates thing really quick because that's a really good important thing too that I know Corey would hate me if I didn't mention it because that's a thing that she always talks about. So the litter mates thing, like you're gonna want to start training as young as you can. You're gonna want to try and keep them pretty separate. So like I go as far as even saying like creating in separate rooms.
Yes.
So like I sometimes in a situation they don't have as many spare bedrooms. Okay, put a crate in your living room, put a crate in your bedroom, and rotate where they sleep every night. One goes in the living room this night, one goes in the living room the next night, and rotate it, keeping them separate because it is so easy when you're dealing with the young dogs that if one dog starts forming a bad habit, the second dog will start picking up on it.
Hey,
You want to keep them as independent as possible.
I was trying to figure out if the barking was you, Norca, or if it was me.
It's the other puppy. He hears her playing, so he wants to come out.
So that's litter mates. I mean, litter mates, the only thing that's different is now you just have 2 dogs and you have to be extra careful. The next thing that Norca just brought up, so with puppies, when you're bringing them home, obviously you want to speak to whoever you're bringing them home from because we are only trainers. We're not vets or breeders or anything like that. But most breeders will kind of amend to this. It's a big misconception that you have to wait and not bring your dog out to even go potty outside until a certain age.
Your dog
You
isn't
just
going to
can't
catch
bring them to
parvo
super
standing outside.
populated areas and they can't be like in water. That's what it is.
Parvo doesn't just live everywhere, guys. The area has to be infected in order for the dog to contract it. So just you can take your dog places, avoid dirt, avoid grass, avoid places where other people bring dogs and other dogs hang out. Don't share bowls with other dogs. Don't take your dog around other people's puppies, especially puppies, because puppies go to vets a lot and what do vets get, guys? Sick fucking dogs that are dying from parvo. Okay. So take your dog places where dogs are not typically at, where there's not a lot of grass, where there's not a lot of dirt and mud, and your puppies can experience the actual world. So
right, because those are the impressionable stages. And I mean, obviously consult with your vets and consult with your breeder. And,
well, every vet's also going to give a different answer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like with my vet, she's overly cautious. She's dealt with a lot of parvo cases in her years as a vet, especially out here in Columbus.
Who did you wait for the 6 months?
11.
And what's going on with 11 now because you waited so long?
He's a goddamn nightmare.
Why, how? Explain it.
He is dog reactive. He is human reactive. He is barrier severe.
Because you may have skipped a very important socialization period for him
Yep.
by keeping
I
him.
mean, look at all the COVID puppies that we have right now because people weren't going out because they were afraid of COVID. So they were staying just on their property or they were just staying in their house. I mean, I had neighbors that wouldn't even go outside of their house. They were just staying in their house. Those puppies are afraid of their own shadow now. So like it's very, and I get it. Trust me, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I understand that. And I understand people's fear with their puppies getting sick from all these illnesses that go around. I understand the fear of the pandemic, but it's very important if you're going to have a young dog that's their impressionable stage. You have to be impressing them and getting them out in those things.
Effectively, what's happening and what happened with 11 is he was raised in a bubble. He only ever went to the vet. He never left the house.
Most puppies are.
He was potty trained on pee pads until we transitioned him to being able to go outside. And he is an exhausting dog. I love him. He's great at home. He listens at home. At home, he is trained. But the moment we go out the door, it doesn't matter what for. He is instantly anxious. He's instantly reactive. And he reacts to literally everything up to and including a stiff wind.
Yeah.
And it's, if I had known when he was a baby that, because I've had him since he was 6 weeks. If I had known when he was a baby that I could take him places and just not to set him down on grass or water or stuff, he would have absolutely gone everywhere with me because that's what I prefer.
Yes.
Right.
Some
And I
people
mean,
are
we've
listening
said this
here.
a million times in all of our discussions and all of our social medias and all of our posts. Socialization does not mean direct interaction with other dogs. I'll say it again.
Wait, what? I missed that. What happened?
Socialization does not mean direct interaction with other dogs.
Wait. I'm taking my dog. He's brand new. He's going to the dog park. He's got all this energy and I need to take him to the dog park every day.
No.
No.
Why not?
Because that's not socialization.
What is socialization? How would you socialize your dog then?
So socialization is a terrible term because the word makes it sound like it should be direct interaction, but socialization is actually exposure. And I would like to move in the training world to change the damn term to exposure work.
Exposure and desensitization. I can never say the word. Say it for me.
Desensitization.
I can't say it.
So when we say get your dog out there and socialize them and your puppy, if you're running to the bank and bring your dog with you and go through the drive-through, that's socialization. You're going to get gas, bring your dog. The person coming up to your car, that's socialization, that's exposure, that's getting them used to these things. Walking by weird things. Yeah, drive-through.
In a Walmart, sitting in a parking lot.
A great example, Sky's right here on my right side. Across the catty corner across the room is the foster puppy in her kennel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's just exposure work and exposure to the world and getting them used to the experiences and things that they're going to encounter and making it a normal for them. The sooner you do, the younger you do this, the more acceptable it's going to be. The big thing that a lot of people will say is your puppy should be on seven different surfaces within like the first, I think it's like 2 or 3 months.
The first 5 days.
So the first 7 different surfaces: grass, cement, sand, stairs,
3 months,
tile. I forget how old it is.
Within 3 days. Hell no, expose your brand new puppy to everything.
Yeah, because you don't want them to be fearful of this.
Follow Ranch Rumors on TikTok and you will see she prepares her litters for real world shit by getting them used to real world shit like noises and jumping over things and bottles and sounds. Desensitize your puppy and you don't have to worry about things like fireworks and people coming over and a pot falling on the ground or whatever. That's
what breeders do. I mean, what good breeders do at least. Yes. I mean, from day one, a puppy will be 1 day old and the breeder is holding that puppy in their hand and is just slightly tilting the puppy and getting them used to the motions, touching their ear, touching the inside of their toes and rubbing on their belly, getting them used to that stuff. common things that dogs are not comfortable with.
Grooming, brushing.
Yeah, getting them used to it, lifting their tails up, all that stuff as early as 1 day old. Then when they're in their welcome boxes and their pens, they have a lot of stimulating surfaces. So different crinkly sounds, different little like mats that have little rubber points on them, all this different stuff. Yeah.
So Rachel, you work with a breeder. Is it true that if you touch your puppy too much that it's going to get sick?
So there's different things to that answer. And I don't want to answer that question because I'm not a vet. But the thing is, you want to make sure, okay, so it's just like a kid. It's the same thing. It's like how she always explains it to me. It's just like a kid. If you keep your kid in the house in a bubble for like the first year,
and then wusses. There will be little wusses. That's what
they need that exposure so that they build up that immunity. So I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly when it comes to dogs, so don't mark my word on that. I can only absorb so much information on it that she tells me. But yeah, I think a lot of people, it's like almost like fear tactics from the vets. I don't want to go like as extreme to say that, but you just need to make sure that you're doing all this stuff. I think a lot of people get really nervous and they hear like, you have to be careful. And they're like, okay, I'm going to not do it at all. I'm going to keep my dog inside all the time. No, like just be careful. That's all we mean. So, you know, do your due diligence, do your research, figure it out. But they're not as fragile as you think. It's going to be fine.
You have something to say, Norka?
Huh? I'm
You
good.
have stuff to say.
No, not yet. I'm just listening. That was good. No, that was good. Yeah, it's all true what she said. Follow her.
Yeah.
Follow her on her socials because she's right. No.
But yeah, so I mean, we're trainers, so that's our trainer advice. But
Yep.
you also want to make sure you talk to your vets, especially. So like, yeah, let me just say that when you're bringing a new dog home, puppy, go to the vet. Adult dog, especially, get that freaking dog to the vet and figure out. Even if the place you got it from says that they did stuff, a lot of these places sometimes mess things up, unfortunately. Right. I experienced that myself. I was told that a certain thing was given and the paperwork was actually wrong. I mean, sometimes they only have these dogs in for a few days. So go to the vet and get all that stuff checked out. Yes.
So I literally take mine the next day. Like if I can't take it,
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
I take them the next day.
Everybody I meet that gets a new dog, they usually just go right away to the vet, which is
yeah,
great.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I go when I can get there. I think with Tater, when I was like, yeah, I picked him up. I went back to work. I finished the work day with Tater there with me. And then on my way home, I went and bought a crate and food. And then we went home. And then the next morning I woke up and I went to the vet. And then I went to work again with him. Like that was my day. That was my 24 hours with him. It was very just like checking all the boxes. I mean, he was an adult dog when I got him. He was almost four, I think, when I got him. So, I mean, that's just my word of advice outside of training with that. Like get them to the vet. Not that you shouldn't trust where you're getting them from, but you also want to do your own due diligence. Talk to all the people that you need to talk to. Like Norka said, if you did get a dog from a breeder is recommending a certain food, doesn't mean you have to stick with that food if you can't afford it or you don't like it or you feel like it's not helping your dog, switch it. Sometimes breeders are hooked up with certain brands, and so that's why they're recommending it. I don't really know any reputable breeder that would really recommend a food that isn't great for their dogs anyway, but still, if you want to look and do your own research, do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Let's summarize real quick.
Yes.
So you got a new dog.
So you
got a new dog. We touched upon using the leash in the house. We touched upon desensitization. Damn it, Norka.
Desensitization.
And we touched upon using the crate in the house, crate time, potty training with puppies, using the crate even with adult dogs. Teaching, get right into training, relationship building, big time. What am I missing? Norka, what am I missing?
That was it. I want to say.
Yeah, just like
being a professional. Please research your reputable trainers in your area or check out some virtuals with some of us and Yeah, just definitely get a consultation. And if it's in your area, you shouldn't be paying much for a consultation.
No.
You know, with a trainer, they're just telling you what you're supposed to be doing.
I actually did a virtual a couple months ago. Somebody was like, hey, I'm like thinking about getting a puppy and I just want to like talk and like go over some stuff. And I'm like, what do you really like want to go over? And they're just wanted to prepare, like just wanted to make sure I had all the right tools ahead of time, that got set up with like the right training, was doing almost like a second opinion type of situation. I was like, damn, you're like really responsible. I was like really, really on that. That was awesome.
Hey.
No,
All right. So I think that's all I have. I think Alexis brought a lot too, but she obviously can't summarize what she said.
Adopt and shop responsibly.
Adopt and shop responsibly. Yes. Do your research.
Be responsible.
Adopt and shop responsibly. There are great reproducible trainers. Breeders out here, and there are great reproducible rescues and shelters and shit. You know, that just
Research your breeds. I think we didn't say that.
Oh yeah,
research your breeds.
And that one's a tough one because not a lot of rescues know what they're giving out. They're pit bull type dogs. There are a lot of pit bull lab mixes, pit bull type dogs that are out there. Okay, so you have to prepare that if it looks like a shit, it will be shit. Okay, so if you get a dog that looks like a Chihuahua, it may be mixed with a Chihuahua. Okay, if you get a dog that looks like a lab pit bull mix, it might be a pit bull mix. Okay, they just have to put lab for liability reasons and to get the dog out a little faster. So yeah, just make sure you prepare for that shelter dog to need maintenance and training and routine, and it's not going to be an easy pleasy, oh, here's your new home, enjoy. It's work to have a new dog in your home. So do research.
It's a beautiful thing to rescue a dog, but like
be prepared.
Don't let it also go to your head, like who rescued who and all that stuff. Like as cute as those things are, it is a relationship. It's still an animal that you're bringing into your house, and there's still things that need to be done in an appropriate way. But enjoy it. I mean, they are a part of our family, but just make sure that you are setting yourself up with healthy boundaries. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I do consider my pets
dog boundaries,
my kids, but I also know that those are words to me, and that it doesn't go as far as contributing to unhealthy habits. So setting all that stuff up with yourself as well. But that's about it.
Setting up your dog for success sets you up for success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up for success, set you up for success, and we'll have a nice happy home. Okay.
Exactly. All right. So you get to cut it. This episode is going to go up in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
The episode after this one, we're going to have Russ from Calm Canine Training.
Beautiful. I got to do my hair for that week.
Yeah, I'll do my hair.
I'll get pretty. I told him he has to do it with his hair down.
What day is that?
That is going to be, I think it's July 25th or 26th. I would have
my hair's like as long as his now. It's been a minute.
You got to compare how long his hair is. 8 p.m. again?
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. again.
Awesome.
I'll send out a reminder. So, all right. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Dog podcast. You'll find our socials below. Please go follow them. I promise I'm going to get better about posting stuff to them. And I promise the girls are going to get better about sending me stuff to post to them.
No, we won't. That's a lie. Don't lie to them, babe.
You're lucky if I show up next week.
Get more pushy.
We'll try.
Thanks for tuning in. We're back on our regular schedule. We've got some great guests that are lined up. The season will be ending in November, and then we will be taking a break until January 1st so that we can, I don't know, enjoy our holidays and do stuff without having to worry about this.
Holiday.
Holiday.
I don't think that goes together in the same sentence. I've never heard that in the same sentence.
So stay tuned, and thank you for listening to us here at Let's Talk Dog.
Bye.
Bye.